Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, playing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the Scadutree Fragments and Revered Spirit Ashes you can get in the early game. To oversimplify, they basically work as permanent boosts. Scadutree Fragments allow you to boost your damage as well as damage negation by 5% per blessing, and Revered Spirit Ashes allow you to boost your Spirit Ashes. This is a really important mechanic if you want your character to become stronger in the DLC. Also, any of the boosts you attain inside of the DLC won't work when you return to the base map. This was done as a way to kind of even out the playing field, whether you're new to Elden Ring and just barely beat the game, or whether you're a seasoned veteran. So let's go ahead and get started and try grabbing some of the early game upgrades. I'm going to show you where to go. The first Scadutree fragment can be easily found. Once you find the map fragment, you just want to follow the path all the way to the bottom. It does curve once you reach the kind of southern point there, but the path will end in the Church of Consolation. There will be some enemies here. You're obviously free to challenge them, but if you just hop on Torrent, you can just get through and grab the Scadutree Blessing. Now, if you return to the first and primary site of grace, if you go mostly east but a little bit north, you'll end up on this cliff's edge where I'm placing a marker. As you approach, you'll notice a spire on a mountaintop. That's how you know you're headed in the right direction. On the cliff's edge here, you should be able to find your first Revered Spirit Ash. Feel free to take these back to a site of grace and apply these blessings if you want the upgrades right away. If we head back to the main path and go north, you'll find the site of grace called Scorched Ruins. This one's fairly easy to find, so you won't need any help. From the grace site, you want to look directly to the east. You'll see a tree here with a cemetery behind it. Go into the cemetery and you'll notice that one of the enemies should have a pot above their head. This is an important enemy as they will run away and then disappear. So go ahead and take them out in order to find your next Scadutree fragment. If they do disappear, just go back to the site of grace, rest, and they should respawn. Keep following the main path to the north, and you'll eventually stumble across the 3-path cross site of grace. Here you'll notice a large tree, and directly next to it you'll find a Mikola cross. Just underneath this cross you should find an item, and then that item will be your next Scadutree fragment. From the 3-path cross site of grace, you can head directly west. Feel free to ride horseback or go on foot and take care of the enemies along the way. You should automatically stumble upon the main gate cross site of grace just ahead of the large tower. And here you can find your next Scadutree fragment. From the main gate cross, you can continue to the west and go up the stairs and into the Belurat Tower settlement. As soon as you come up your first set of stairs, there should be some scorpions here, and once you take them out and enter the room in front of you, you can find Revered Spirit Ashes just tucked underneath the statue here. Now, if you head into the tower settlement, the first site of grace inside will be the Belurat Tower settlement site of grace, and then you'll find the small private altar. Starting at the small private altar, you can find a couple of things here, and this area does culminate in a boss battle. But we won't have to do it in order to grab all of these, so you're free to grab them and then leave. What we're going to do is we're going to follow this path. This looks like a quite complicated path, but there really aren't many other places to go. You should eventually come into a room with a ladder. You're free to ignore all of the enemies if you so desire, but you're going to want to climb that ladder. At the top of the ladder, head up the stairs on your right, and then down the stairs on your left. As you're coming down these stairs, you should notice some ruins on your right-hand side. Jump up on these ruins, and then you'll find a little bit of a secret hidden door. Go through this door, you'll probably get attacked by a fly, like I did here, although a well-timed dodge will allow you to survive and not take that damage. But once you do make your way in the room, just make your way all the way to the back to find another Mikola's Cross, and here you'll be able to find another Scadutree fragment. From this location, we can also find 2 more Revered Spirit Ashes before we have to fight a boss, but we can also leave here and go in a different direction. So anyways, turn around from the Mikola's Cross, go out the door and above the ruins. Here you want to turn to the left as you jump down. Going to the right, you can find some scorpions, but I haven't found much else there. If you go to the left, you'll find these rooftops with these kind of birds, and you'll have to make your way across the rooftops. We're going to find another one of those enemies with a pot above their head, and again, they're going to try to run away, so we're going to be careful here. You can ignore these birds if you want, although they do get pretty aggressive, but taking out this pot enemy will get you to get a revered spirit ash if you loot it afterwards. From that enemy, we can also then cross the bridge. Watch out for the large knight enemy. And at the end of the bridge, take a left-hand turn towards the tree. To the left of the tree, you can find a statue. At this statue, you can find, yes, even more revered spirit ashes. Now we can go back and start grabbing a couple of easy ones. Start from the main gate cross in front of the Belurat settlement. And here what we'll do is we'll turn around and head kind of southeast. Instead of following the path, if you keep to the right, you should find a mountain's ledge here that you can follow all the way up and to your next site of grace. Just be careful you don't fall off the cliff here. Here you'll find the Cliff Road Terminus site of grace, and there are two things to grab once you're here. Start by hopping on your horse and then follow the path towards the southwest. As you're following this path, it should conclude in a little bit of a cemetery. Inside of that cemetery, there will be some enemies, and one of those enemies will be one of the people with the pot above their head. Make sure you focus on killing them before the other enemies, and they will drop your next Scadutree fragment. You can then return to the Cliff Road Terminus site of grace that we just started at, and from here you can basically go directly east. If you do that, you should find the cliff's edge with another statue here, and at that statue, another revered spirit ash. At this point, feel free to return to the three-path cross. There you can follow the road to the north, and you'll find the Great Bridge North, and here there will be a village. Go into the village, and if you just stick to the right-hand side, you'll find a little bit of a secret path that drops kind of on the cliff's edge. And here you'll be able to find your next ash. From the three-path cross, you can also go northeast towards the Elak Great Bridge. As you cross the bridge, you should also be able to find the Castle Front site of grace. Just in front of that site of grace, to the right-hand side, you'll find another statue. And at the foot of the statue, you'll find an item. So you'll go and you'll pick it up. It'll be a Scadutree fragment. From the castle front side of grace, you can go southeast behind the tents, and there's a little bit of a secret path. You'll have to go up onto the kind of ledge of the mountain here. As you're following that path, it will split a little bit, and you want to keep your eyes out on the left. If you do that, you'll find this site of grace, as well as a Michaelis cross with an item here. You'll also see a castle up on the cliff to your left, and there is a shortcut to get here. From the castle front site of grace, you can also just head directly into the castle. As you work your way through it, you will find the Castle Ensis checkpoint site of grace. There are some pretty tough enemies in this area, and next to the Michaelis cross, you can also find a Scadutree fragment. At this point in the video, or at any point earlier, you can visit a site of grace, go to the Shadow Realm Blessings, and apply your fragments and ashes towards levels. Following the video should get you to level 5 on the Scadutree Blessings and level 5 on the Revered Spirit Ash Blessings. This will give you a buff of somewhere around 30% extra damage and 30% extra damage negation, allowing you to now go and tackle one of the bosses, either in Castle Ensis or the Belurat Tower. Good luck, and thank you for watching the video. Drop a like and share it with a friend. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.